Well, yes, we've got the final 24. Steve Rossich is the Chief Executive Officer of the Victoria Racing Club. He joins Francesca Camani and myself here in headquarters. Congratulations. Before we get to the Melbourne Cup, let's wrap up today. The Derby was a sensational race, a wonderful day of racing and a phenomenal crowd given the weather conditions that we've had not only today but all through the last month. What was the final figure, Steve?
The final figure was 71,327.
Fantastic.
The largest crowd on any racecourse around Australia since the 2019 Lexus Melbourne Cup.
Well, what a pipe opener it's been. Since 1855, the Victoria Derby, today brought to you by Penfolds, was just a fantastic race. But now we set our sights on the first Tuesday in November, where they run the Melbourne Cup, and it's run for Lexus this year. And here is the final order of entry. Steve, do you want to take us through?
Delighted to Eddie in saddlecloth order. 1, Gold Trip. 2, Jewess. 3, Knights Order. 4, Montefilia. 5, Numerian. 6, Without a Fight. 7, Camorra. 8, Deauville Legend. 9, Stockman. 10, Vow and Declare. 11, Young Werther. 12, Huhamal. 13, Serpentine. 14, Dacon Sweet Junior. 15, Grand Promenade. 16, Arapaho. 17, Emissary. 18, Lunar Flare. 19, Smoke and Romans. 20, Charlie Rose. 21, Point Nepean. 22, High Emotion. 23, Interpretation. And 24, Realm of Flowers.
There it is, and at 6:15 on 10 Play, you can watch the barrier draw for this year's Lexus Melbourne Cup, the 162nd running. Francesca and Steve, nothing really controversial there. Everything's gone as planned. The committee met about half an hour ago. We had shots of you in the committee room. Everything is as it seems?
It is, as is tradition. We had that board meeting and the field was resolved, and we can't wait for Tuesday, that race that stops the nation.
Francesca, what do you make of that?
I think it's a really exciting field this year. It always is, isn't it? The Melbourne Cup is the Melbourne Cup, and what makes it so exciting is the fact that it's a handicap. So we've got loads of really good races all around the world, but I love this race because it's particularly hard to win. I know, I've been there as a member of a training team with runners in the race, but especially when you're trying to pick it apart, yes, you have horses with good form and maybe better than others, but the fact that they're all weighted to technically finish across the line together makes it a pretty hard one to pick the winner.
Now, Francesca, given the fact that you were the only person to tip Man's Horse at $23, it was out as far as 30 at one stage there. Have you got an early tip for the Cup just as we're looking?
Don't ask me. That's a one-off, very rare.
Yeah. You only need one, don't you?
Success,
yeah.
I know.
Did you get on, Steve? I didn't. I heard afterwards.
Well, unfortunately, I was on course, or fortunately, but I should have been tuning into Network 10.
You should have, yeah. Francesca, you've paid your way, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, it was earlier on in the day. I should have reiterated stronger. No, well, in the Cup, a few of the horses that I liked earlier on have actually been found in the betting. So Without a Fight was the one that stood out a while ago on form. But Montefilia as well. You like her, I like her. Everywhere I go, people seem to like her.
Yeah,
Bossy as well. Yep,
Steve, you got a tip at the moment? Just an early look?
I'll leave it to the experts, but if you really ask me, I don't mind Gold Trip.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good stuff. Now, ahead of the race, I mean, the course has been in magnificent condition today. Not only the accoutrements, if you like, the beautiful roses and the birdcage, but the track stood up beautifully to all sorts of weather today. What's your thoughts for Tuesday?
Well done to Liam O'Keefe and our full track team. The rail will come out 3 metres was the plan. They'll assess the track tonight. It played beautifully, and I'm sure it will again on Tuesday.
Steve, good luck. What's the... what are we having nearest to the pin on the crowd for Tuesday? Anything yet?
Just over 80,000, Ed, I think, is the way it's shaping. Really strong interest. And if that weather keeps sparkling through, we could get to about 85.
And, of course, don't forget, we've got the Kennedy Oaks on Thursday, and then the big Saturday, the Champion Stakes for the TAB. That's going to be something else for us all to come together for. So good luck. It's been a fantastic day today, Steve. Let's go back to Michael Felgate to wrap things up. Michael, it's been absolutely sensational today. What a Victoria Derby for Penfolds it's been. And just great news that we can just look forward now. A full deck. The 24 horses have been declared now for the Melbourne Cup, as I said, 6:15 on 10 play to watch the barrier draw.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Eddie. We couldn't have asked for a better start to the Melbourne Cup Carnival, and now it builds even more because it is the race that stops the nation, the Lexus Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. After the final 24 has been announced, we'll look at a few of the leading contenders with Michelle Payne and David Gately. And first of all, quite remarkably, Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace have 5 runners in this year's Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, it is remarkable, and look, it probably says a lot about that operation. You know, they've gone on a large scale, haven't they, and purchased a lot of international horses, which seems to be the recipe these days. But what they do is get their horses to peak on the day. So I think if you're backing any of that stable, you'd feel confident that the horse is right. Whether they're good enough is a whole different question.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's obviously such an open race as it is every year, but I think probably Gold Trip maybe looks the best of theirs, but it's getting exciting now. We're getting very close.
Well, you mentioned Gold Trip. He went oh so close in that Caulfield Cup. Durston, the winner, isn't there now, but there are a few runs, and this traditionally, the Caulfield Cup is the best guide for the Melbourne Cup.
It is that, and as we said earlier, history's there for a reason. Gold Trip was very good this day. 6 kilos he gave to that winner, so, you know, at level weights he wins that race. His problem, of course, on Tuesday is he's got to carry a big weight again relative to his opposition. Montefilia, the best closer, not only of that race, but of the day. It was an outstanding finale. Duis in the blue and white quarters there also hit the line nicely behind them off a moderate tempo. So there's a few out of that race you can certainly make a case for if it's the right form.
Yeah, well, that's right. I thought Vow de Clare, the Cup winner in 2019, he ran well. He probably doesn't want it wet, so that's the other factor on Tuesday. How much rain we get and what track rating we have, and then it's the X factor, the internationals, and it's all been about Deauville Legend for James Ferguson. Michelle, we spoke about him a little earlier. This is him at Werribee. He settled in beautifully. You know more about him than most because your brother-in-law, Kerrin McAvoy, he's looking to create history and equal 4 Melbourne Cup wins. He went down earlier in the week, sat on him. He's pretty happy, by all reports, with how Deauville Legend felt.
For sure, and you can just see him there. He's just such an athlete, the way he moves, the way he carries himself. He's so efficient, and that's what you're looking for in a horse that's going to run 2 miles here at Flemington. He looks like he can handle all conditions as well, which is obviously what we need to see out here. But as I said, Liam O'Keefe's done such an amazing job with this track out here, and hopefully it's not too bad on Tuesday.
The internationals are the first 2 favourites in the market. The other one is Without a Fight. He'd been flying under the radar until about 2 weeks ago. You could have got 30-1. He's now a very firm second favourite for Simon and Ed Crisford. He's settled in very well by all reports, and this was him winning the John Smith Silver Cup. Only a small field there, but he's a horse that looks like will be suited to the 3200.
I think also another thing to note, which I mentioned earlier, is this guy, he's a Teofilio horse who he really looks like a Teofilio. Of the last 4 Melbourne Cups, 2 horses have been by, 2 winners of the race have been by the same stallion as this horse. So obviously you've got to take that into account, and just love the style of horse that he is.
Dave Waterhouse, Adrian Bott have 2 runners, Huya Mal, another former international, and Knight's Order, who ran a cracking race in the Caulfield Cup.
He's very genuine, Knight's Order, and he loves it wet. He races on speed. He's the Sydney Cup winner, albeit on a biased track. So you could certainly be able to make a case for him, no worries. And Huya Mal, well, he finished alongside Deauville Legend a couple of starts ago, so it's not a massive line to draw for a case made there. Well,
so many intriguing storylines, Ed, and the final piece of the puzzle will be revealed at 6:15 when we have the barrier draw on 10 play. It's getting real now, the build-up to this year's Lexus Melbourne Cup.
Yes, congratulations, Michael. Well done. It's been a fantastic day of racing. You've done a sensational job hosting the main part of the action tonight. So mate. So congratulations, Michael Felgate and all the team there. Gator did very well, and of course, Michelle Payne is Michelle Payne, isn't she? She's just a legend of the turf. All right.
Look at this.
There it is.
What have you done with yours, Bossy? Where are yours?
Mine are at home.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll
All
be having a
three
beer. I'll be
lined up?
having a beer out of them tonight, probably.
3 beers.
Don't you love when somebody can have one in each bedroom? It's fantastic. Isn't it? So where do you keep them?
Just at home, yeah.
Mantelpiece?
A cup of mantelpiece?
No,
Trophy
just out on the shelf there, and anyone who comes over has a beer out of them. It's just tradition.
I was going to ask how often do you dust them, but no, you just drink beer out of them.
Just drink beer out of them, yeah, love it.
It gets dusty from them. That's what happens. Okay. All right, let's have a look at the three races to finish up.
Yep.
The Empire Rose up first. So let's have a look at this. And Ice Bath, it was one of those ones we spoke earlier in the day when we were doing the previews that Ice Bath had the barrier 18, then went into 5 after a redraw.
Yep.
We thought, well, maybe that might be a bit of an omen, a bit of luck, and as it turned out, it made, I don't know if it made the difference, but it certainly made everyone feel happy in the camp. And Craig Williams had to walk all the way home, but it was a victory lap in the end.
Yeah, all the chat pre-race was about La Creek, wasn't it, from New Zealand. She ran well, but ultimately couldn't quite get home. And then the winner, we're all wondering what's happened. Why is Craig off his horse? And she just whipped round, dropped him.
She's a feisty little lass, isn't she? You know, I rode her early in her career, and she's always had that little bit of thing about her. Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Even in the winners' enclosure, she was trying to rear her up and all sorts.
A little bit naughty, but well-deserved Group 1.
Okay, let's have a look at the Coolmore, and this was built up as just an amazing race, and so it turned out, and James McDonald again was just sensational.
Yeah, he really was. She was dominant, this filly, wasn't she? She didn't get the clearest of runs, but she really dug deep and won comfortably in the end, didn't she?
I think there's going to be so many good horses come out of this in the autumn. It was a spectacular race and it delivered. There's a couple of ones in the place getters which I really want to follow going forward.
And an amazing day for the jockeys. James McDonald with 4 winners. Craig Williams had 2. Damien Oliver had 1. Michael D, of course, winning the Derby, which we're about to have a look at after winning the Caulfield Cup 2 weeks ago, and wasn't that a popular win, and John Allen in the last there. But let's have a look at Michael D on the Derby winner 2 weeks after winning the Caulfield Cup.
Wasn't his horse strong to the line? Like, he just really wanted it, and there's someone here right beside us was just cheering louder than others, but I thought the second horse was so brave in defeat.
He really was. Look, it's the first time these horses were stepping up in distance. Chris Waller doesn't bring horses to derbies for the fun of it.
No.
He had been campaigning the right kind of races, but was getting too far back as well. But in this race, he was able to really let